Stitch with me. Today we are going to be working on a fall project. It is early spring here. We're not even to June yet. So it's a little bit odd, but that's when we think about things. I'm trying to get this fall project ready to go so it can get in the store by July. So, and it's a bigger project, so it'll take me most of June. Okay, let's bring it. You can see that I've got parts here. Let's get started. These are my threads that I plan on using for this that I pulled for it. I may not use them all, but that's what I pulled for it. This is the placement guide for the project. Let me see if I can get things squared away straight. About right there. And then adjust. Okay, right there. And then this is what I have cut out and ready to go on the project already. I need to cut these because they are so small. I used my die cutting machine to cut them, and I put Heat and Bond light on the back of it, which reminds me I need to turn on my iron because we'll iron those down in a few minutes. Why do you not want to turn on? I'll bet you're unplugged. Why, yes, you are. Okay, we'll get those going. Tiny little pieces like that are even hard to hold on with a pin. So, and some of them, as I cut them, it automatically peeled the backing off of them. Let's gather up all those little spots here. And I cut a few extras for the leaves that we're going to see how it goes. So this is from the 8-petal die set. It's the 1-incher, and this is the 3/4 of an incher from the 6-petal die set. They're kind of, when I designed them on purpose so that you would have whatever size you needed and whatever number of petals that you needed. And so it's not that any one set is the key set to have, it's having the luxury of being able to go, okay, I need this one and that one and that one. I have them all out while I work on putting together the parts of this collection so that I can pull up what I need. The leaves that I cut, I think those come from also, I have a leaf set 1 and a leaf set 2, and I think these come from both sets, but I don't know if I'll use what came from both of them. All right, there we have our pumpkin cut out. Now let's get our placement guide out and decide which direction we are going to run this. I can't remember what it's called. This, you can see the texture in this. I love that. I can't remember the name of this one, but it is fabulous. Okay, we need to be able to get to, ideally, this outside edge. So the question is, yep, this is the way we want to do it. I had a few pieces of this. I've since then got more, but I'm going to get it done before, so I'll be able to fill kits. Okay, there we go. We're going to put it right there. And I think what we will do, we will not do that because I don't have any tape handy. We'll use a pin. So we are going to take a pin right up here and place it, pin our placement guide down so that we know where we want things to go. Now this one does not have adhesive, or does not have the iron-on adhesive on it, and so it will need to be appliqued in place. So let's get it right where we want it. This is why I like the placement guides that are made of vellum, because you can see how I'm adjusting it a little bit up and down until I have it right where I want it. And then I'll go ahead and pin it in place. I'm not sure I have any applique pins, so we are going to have to get by with one that is not an applique pin. That's okay, it's a small piece, it'll be fine. And I don't want to pin it to my tablecloth here. It's not a tablecloth, it's a fleece. It's just a piece of gray fleece. And the reason is because gray fleece is, when your camera is choosing what color to show things, it believes that what it sees is 18% gray. And so I need this. Oh, you know what? Before we put these guys on, we're going to want to put this all on. Yeah, I'm not sure where that's going to go. I got to get it back to lined up. And maybe what we're going to want to do is actually stitch that down first, because then I can get it all lined up correctly again. Okay. So to stitch it down, I have a couple of different thread options. I think that's probably going to be my best one. This one's a little bit brighter, probably too bright. A long time ago, a few years ago back, my husband and I were in Hobby Lobby shopping through the embroidery flosses to find threads for the colors that I needed for a project. And I was telling him how I had most of the threads that were available by Sue Spargo and most of the wool threads that Wonderfill manufactures, but that I did not have, this one's giving me fits. I did not have some colors, and the only thing that I knew was that Aurifil made a whole bunch of wool colors. And, okay, let's see which one of these we think blends in the best. I'm going to go with the bottom one, so let's get that one out. He was annoyed enough with trying to find the right colors as I pulled out piece of wool after piece of wool, that he was like, wait, there's a company that makes these colors, so we don't have to come here and do this. And I was like, yes, that's true. And he decided that he should gift me those colors so that I didn't have to do that anymore. So that's what this is my set of Lana colors. Lana means wool, and this is my set from Aurifil. Or those the red spools like that come from Aurifil. Genziana also has a bunch of colors. Theirs are more primitive. Just a FYI. Okay, we are going to applique this down. Tiny stitches, whip stitches along the edge that we'll pull in. And we'll hold, we don't want them pulled too tight. If they're pulled too tight, you don't want them too loose, you don't want them too tight. And there's a gap, kind of a gap in between where you'll know that one is not pulled too tight. I'm going to pull it too tight so you can see. See how it pulls in on the wool there? We don't want it to do that. And if it's too loose, it's easy to catch things on. So you just want the in-between. Just snug, but not too tight. And like I said, there's kind of it's not exact. It's not either good or bad. There's a little spot in between where, now see how this one blends in and blends in? These two especially blend in. You can hardly see them. That one doesn't quite. It's not quite tight enough right there. Okay, let's go. This takes practice for a while to get where you want it to be. I have not appliqued things down. Oh, goodness. Let's see. The last time I appliqued was probably the We the People quilt back in January. January or February. Feels like forever right now. I've had some other projects that have had a lot of, so I've had the embroidery or the applique part done, and I've just worked on embroidery on them. So why did I not put adhesive on this one? I like using the Heat and Bond Light if it's not going to be turned into a quilt, and this one is not going to be turned into a quilt. If it's going to be turned into a quilt, I like the wool to be able to be a little puffier, and so that's part of the reason. The other one is that even for attaching the little pieces like this down, it is helpful to, it occurs to me that, yeah, my iron's not getting hot because I need to push the button. With the little pieces, pinning, the reason that we use freezer paper when we're cutting out patterns is because pins tend to distort the wool. They bend it, and that's also why we like the applique pins. And especially with itty bitty tiny things like these guys, the adhesive makes it so that I don't have to worry about pinning them. Even now, remember, I'm told that if I use Heat and Bond Light, it will not stick well enough and I will still need to applique them down. I have one instance that I'm aware of where the Heat and Bond Light, I'm going to just do one and go this way. The Heat and Bond Light has released. I don't know if I didn't steam it well enough, but that quilt is quilted, and the item that I did not tack down, I went around the outside of it, but I did not tack it down, is peeling off. So that would support the fact that you need either stitches over top of them to hold them down, or you need to applique them in place. In this case, we will be having stitches that will hold them down all the way. So I'm not worried about appliquing those other pieces. And I chose to applique this one. I do love the puff that comes from appliquing, and I think that that will help. But like I said, this one's not going to be a quilt. It's going to be more of a flat project. So I'm not as worried about it. Okay, we are almost back to the start on this one. Enough so that the stitches we have on will hold it in place. One of the things to watch for when you're appliquing is that if you are tipping it a lot like this, you may not end up stitching it in the right spot, because what you see when it lays down, it goes to that spot right there. But when I hold it up here, I might think the back is down here, and I have done that in my early years. I finished putting something on and gone, why is it not stretched taut? Why is it kind of wrinkly? And that's why. Some people say that you don't need pins because wool sticks to wool. It doesn't stick that well, and if you're turning it on its side like that, you will end up with it not staying down where it needs to. There's our first stitch over there, so we got a couple more. Okay, now we have appliqued our little pumpkin on. Now let's put our plan back in place. Okay, right there. And then I'm going to actually tack this one down a little bit sideways. When I lift it up, it's this way. If I just push these guys down in at this angle, then when I lift up, it doesn't move. So, okay, let's move that guy around until we get him where we want him. Okay, and now let's bring in this one. I think this one has, nope, wrong angle. Does it really matter in the end? No, it does not. So if you liked a different angle, you should go for it. Okay, get over there. Oh, too far. And back. Okay, I am going to iron those 3 pieces on, and then I'll come back and work on leaves because I don't want them to accidentally get bumped. So we're going to go ahead and press them. I have heard that when you're doing Heat and Bond Light, the suggestion or the way to get it to iron well is the heat and steam, steam, steam. I don't usually use steam on my things because I often have them marked with my water pen, and I don't want that to mess it up. So I don't think there's any water in this machine. All right, let's see. That appears. They just look a little bit different to me, like they're stuck down. Yeah, they're stuck down. Okay, let's work on the leaves next then. Okay, get this guy. My holes. Can you feel it pulling? Okay, put it back where it goes. Okay, leaves. This one is supposed to be this biggest leaf here, but I didn't have any of the smaller non-bumpy leaves. So I decided to cut this one and then just trim the edge of the bump on it so that it would be the right shape. Okay, that one goes about right there, up a little bit. There we go. And then the other 3 or 4 bigger leaves. There we go. That one. This one. have one more big one. Do I want it there? No. Do I want it there? Yeah, maybe. What's my next size? My next size is this one. Again, these leaves aren't exactly long enough, but they'll work just fine for our project. I'm going to trim this one because I want it a tiny bit smaller. So I'm just going to take the end off of it. It was still quicker than cutting it out myself. Not the right spot. Let's move it over to right there. That's closer, a little further down. Okay, we got those guys. Okay, these are all small enough. I'm going to do them with thread. So I think that's all that I need for those. Let's iron them all in place now. We can count 15 seconds, 1, 1,000, 2, or I can just watch it on my clock over here. All right, let's see if those look stuck down. I think. Let's do a little bit more. It wouldn't hurt. I mean, trying to peel them off right away. If there's any chance they're going to peel off, that's the chance. So, okay. Our next step on this is to mark where we're going to do the lines. Now, you can wing it. You don't have to mark them, but I'm going to mark them on this because I think that will help me get them in the right spot. Okay, so make sure you got it in where you want it. And I'm going to just poke through. Now, I'm pretty sure that we're getting dots, but if not, I need to spin it. Okay, so we have a stem that comes down here. It'll branch up there, but I can kind of tell where it's supposed to go. We've got one that starts here, and what I'm going to do here is 3 lazy daisy stitches, and this one will have 5 lazy daisy stitches. Oh, okay, pay attention to what you're doing. We're working on this. Again, I'm just trying to get a good idea of where it goes. I don't need an exact line. I'll be able to wing that. Okay, we got that line, we got that line. There's a little line right here, and do that dot, that dot, that dot. Whoops, those 2 dots. Let's go down this line. I'm doing these a little bit closer because I want to remember that those dots were like flowers on top. I don't think I'm going to mark these little guys. I think I'll just come back and do them because they're not that critical where they end up. There's even a short one right here. Let's go around the stem. You notice that I'm spinning my marking tool. This is my Easy Marks Light. If this were black background, I would need my Easy Marks Dark. One comes down this side, one goes up that side. This one is short. This one is long. Let me mark. That one I don't think is going to be complicated, but I want to keep the balance right on this one. So I'm going to mark the corners. Okay, have I marked everywhere yet? No, I haven't marked the line across the bottom. I haven't marked any of these leaves. I think I'm going to do the outside point and the middle. Outside point and middle, outside. Actually, those are tiny enough. I got to do both ends. Now, when I lift this up, what you're going to see is a ton of little dots. And that's okay. I'll have this to interpret my dots for me. Okay, we have a straight line across the bottom here. It goes under the pumpkin. And then we have this guy, this guy, this guy. That one's green, that one's burgundy. That one, that one, that one, that one, and that one. Okay, I think that's all Yeah, because I don't need to mark around the ones that are there, so I think we're good. Okay, now we have it marked. So now we can start stitching. How are we doing on time? Yeah, let's get at least a little bit of stitching done today. Okay, I think first thing that I want to do, I'm going to use this brown. It's Easy 2158, and I'm going to stem stitch the stems that are brown on my markings. So let's go ahead and get our needle threaded. We're using a size 8, so we can use a 24 needle, although I'm not sure. I just have a pile here. I think this one's a 22, but a 22 or a 24 will work fine. Okay, I need to look at over here, not there. I need to look at the plan. Oh, I have the, well, this plan will work. All right, let's see. Let's start on this one right here. It comes out near this bottom leaf right here, and it heads up to that one. So let's go ahead and it curves enough, and this background fabric is a little bit looser. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with some small stitches on this one. Oh my goodness, this is going to be very cute. I can't wait to do it. I love fall. I grew up loving school, no matter what time of year it was. I'm the one who was very sad on the last day of school. It's not that I didn't enjoy summers as much. They were completely different for me. I grew up on a farm, and so I spent my summers helping haul hay and move sprinkler pipes and that sort of thing. So okay, we're going to skip out here, and we're going to do, I still lack this one right here that I have to come back to, but I think that my footprint is probably better coming up here. Okay, this clearly doesn't come out in the same space, but that's okay. So summers were just different. They were a lot of fun too. They just weren't school. And then I became a teacher, and I loved the excitement of back to school in the fall. And then I had children who obviously went to school. And so school and fall has always been my favorite. I always thought I'd fall in love in the fall. I guess I did, but not in the way I thought. Because I liked, walking around campus in the leaves. And okay, this one, these are my 5 stars. See how I'm using my pattern to see that? In fact, I'll draw it on here just so that you can see it. These are my 5 points of this flower that's starting to open. And so then my stem starts right here and goes back down. There's kind of a gap in between, but I think that's fine. That's the style I've drawn this one in, is with sometimes gaps. So let's go back down this one. Now, the question of can you jump that far? If this were a dish towel we were embroidering, no, because we'd be able to see it if we held it up to the light. I don't know how to hold it up to the light in a way that you can see, but this is thicker. It won't show. That's one of the wonderful things about stitching on wool. You don't have to mess with. You can travel. Okay, stem stitch back down this stem. I am super excited to show you as I work on these what they are going to become in the end. But honestly, I have a couple of different options for them to become in the end. Coming soon, I don't know if you saw, this is my thread box. Wow, takes the whole space. All right, I'm going to remove the thread out of it just so that you can see what it is. This is an acrylic drawer. This one is the 6x6, and I don't have a 6x6 object to put in it. But this, you can do I'll have a lot better examples for it, but that's the whole idea, is that you can put something fun in the bottom as a display that can switch out seasonally, and then you can use this on your counter for, the change that comes in your husband's pocket, or whatever you want to collect in it. I'm using it to hold my threads right now. but you have that display option as well. So these can be done if you planned ahead for the size of, I have those display boxes in 9-inch, 4-inch, 6-inch. So if you planned that you wanted to use this in a 4-inch one, I think it will fit, or in a 6-inch one, just make sure that the wool that you're putting it on is big enough for that. Okay, it goes down here and turns around and has a little twig. So yeah, I love fall. So I don't even mind working on fall without summer, although I am going to have some summer activities going on. I'm not that excited about skipping fall altogether. Okay, or skipping summer altogether. It's a dreary, rainy day out there today, so it doesn't feel very spring-like. Now remember, when you go to the back of a stem stitch and you're going to turn it around, you can either hook under one of the threads nearby, or you can go ahead and tie a knot. The knot will hold your place, and then you can come back up in almost the same, if not the same hole. Just watch for that knot on the back. My middle finger right here is holding that knot out of the way so that I can come back up without having to go through the knot. Going through knots does not work well. Okay. I've been doing some of those dish towels lately, and it takes just a little bit different thought, because with those I'm always planning where I'm going to go so that I don't have to travel. And if I do have to travel, I got to travel along a path that's already been stitched. And I forget how nice it is when it's wool and no one cares where we travel. Okay, let's look at our dots here and make sure we're not, yep, that one, it goes near the point but not quite, and then we'll go to the next one. And then later we'll go across the top and get all of our little ones up there. Right here, that one's going to end. And then we'll jump over here to this one. And it also goes down and comes back up. So yeah, I love fall. Been drooling over these colors. I have a pile of them right now on my work table so that I can pull the ones I need for each of these little fall designs, and so that they'll coordinate together. Okay, remember, we're going to take it to the back right here by the edge of the pumpkin. Tie a knot in it so that we can turn around and stem stitch our way back up. I'm going to use the same brown to do the stem of the pumpkin, but we'll do that later. We're just going to work on these the little stick stems for now. Oops. Let's rethread our needle. It's not even that short. I don't know how I managed to pull it out, but since I have a short piece left, I don't want to start on a long section that I would have to cut a thread in between. So I think we'll go back and do shorter sections till we run out of thread here. I am a little bit stubborn about playing thread chicken. I like to use as much thread as I can. So, okay, we've got that one. There's a little one right up here. This one, oh, it's this one down here that we need to do. Okay. So this one will just have about 3 stitches, because we're trying to get to that point right there in the middle. And then there's going to be some little flowers off to the side, or some little cotton balls. That's probably what they are, is just little cotton balls. They're either white flowers or cotton balls, whatever you choose. It's probably what they should be, is cotton balls. Okay. Snip that one. Oh, this is refreshing to not have to track. Okay, let's get this little guy's stem. right here. Yep, looks like it's time to change threads, because if I'm pulling it off, then I'm spending more time than it's worth saving that last 6 inches of thread. Okay, I didn't quite go as far as I should have, so I'm going to take one more little step, one more little stitch, and then we can go down. Okay, and that gives us about somewhere, let's look at our things, probably not a half yet, but we're quite a ways towards our, maybe a third. This one turned out to be a little bit long. I'm going to snip him off. All right, let's try a little bit more. Where are we at on our time here? Yep, getting close. I could sit here and do this all day, but unfortunately, or fortunately, I have other projects that I have to work on today, not stitching. Stitching is my favorite part of, well, I think designing is, but this part where I get to go, okay, what exactly am I going to do? What stitches am I going to do? Where are we going to do them? This is definitely one of my favorite parts of this industry. Let's start right here and go out on this one. And so yeah, I would love to get to sit and do this all day, but there are other responsibilities I have today. I am dyeing wool for the Mini Moo Meadows. I call that design of the skies and the skies with clouds and grass on the bottom. I call them sunny skies, and they're used for more things than just the Mini Moos, but it happens to be that I'm doing the size for the Mini Moos today for more of the Mini Moo Meadows kits. Okay, let's tie that one off, and we'll move to the other side. Isn't the texture on that cream wool just fabulous? So I had heard that it had been discontinued and that you couldn't get it anymore. And I had just a tiny piece of it that I've wanted to use on a project for a long time. But when I started doing some research, I was able to find, not wholesale, but I was able to find some yardage online. And since this project only takes a 6 by 6 inch square, I went ahead and got enough to make kits for this project, because it's just way cool. Okay, let's see, looks like we'll fit 2 more stitches on here. I remember when I first started doing these, or first had the idea to do these Stitch With Me's, I was like, I'll be lucky if I can do 15 minutes. Not that I can't stitch for that long. The question is, can I talk for that long? I should know me better than that. I can definitely do it. And now I'm like, oh, I try to keep it to 3 or to, I try to keep it to about 30 minutes, and we are over on that. So I'll probably do this last one, and then we'll take a break for the day. Okay, this one is headed straight up to the burgundy flower. Okay. Unless I finish all the stems first. Gotta look and see how many are left. Not very many. Okay, maybe we will finish. Oh, there goes my compressor. I have been fighting with my laser the last honestly, I've been fighting with it for maybe a month now. But a few weeks ago, I was frustrated because I got the the most recent 3 times I used it, um, I was getting fires, and fires are not cool. They're kind of scary. Um, like I can't. You don't usually want to leave a laser anyway, but I couldn't even walk away from just standing there watching it because of the fire risk. Um, and so I decided that I would do a tune-up and get everything, resituated, and I cleaned out the inside of it, swept it really well, washed everything down, cleaned it up. I cleaned off all of the grease in the places that it needs to be greased, and then reapplied grease and put it all back together. There were a few screws that I had not replaced. Okay, some of these are leaves. Let's go back to our plan and look and see. Okay, so that's a leaf, and this is a stem. This is stem right here, and that's a leaf, and this is stem right here, right? Just curves, let me lay it over top. The problem is when you lay it over top and you can't see underneath what you've marked. Oh, that's just a spot. So the leaf is actually right here. There we go. And that's a spot, and this is a leaf, and this is kind of where they come together right here. So it goes up to there, and then this makes this curve. Okay, now we know what we're doing. Okay, what was I? Oh, yeah, I got the whole thing reworking, and I still was having fits. It wasn't cutting like it used to before, and I didn't really know how. I suspected that I was having problems with my air assist. So I was troubleshooting my air assist, and ultimately in the end I had it working, but not really correctly. I think I had a faulty air regulator, so it would say that it was just barely giving it a little bit of, okay, that's where the curve goes, and that goes up to there. It was just barely giving it a little bit of air, but that was not the sound it was making. And so I would have to turn it way, way down, and then I'd have to watch really close, because as I got way down, then it would not blow enough, and again, then I had fires. So I got a regulator that I need to replace, but that's the sound of my air compressor recharging even though the whole machine is shut off. The reason is because that air compressor plug is back behind where it's not easy access, and when it's not working, it only goes off like that. Oh, I don't even think it goes off once an hour. So I let that run. Okay, where this is up here, that's a leaf. Okay, the leaf is actually longer than that, right? Yeah, and we go up right here to this spot. And we'll go back, and then we have approximately one more branch, approximately. So we'll go ahead and finish the last branch. Okay, we're going to go down on this one right here. And then it has a little one right here. Now, if I'm doing a stem stitch, remember a stem stitch has 2 strands. So if you're going to fake it with just 1 stitch, you need to go through it twice. And then we start right here and go up our next branch. I'm going to draw it in so that I can keep track of what I'm doing. It goes up here, and it has a short little one off here. And then this is just a short little one right there. And then it also, nope, that is around the stem. So that's it. And there are a couple little ones up there. Okay. Oh, we're going to run out of thread really quick here. That's okay. We're close there. Okay, I'm going to go down here. Right there, and then I'll come up at that spot. But in the meantime, if I got enough thread here to do just this little guy. But remember, he needs twice. And then we need to tie a knot, and we are going to be tight untying that knot on the back. Let's see. Oh, we got plenty. We got a whole inch there. It's when I got like 3/4 of an inch or 1/2 an inch that it's complicated. All right, tie that off. Now, how much do we have left? We will not take a full yard, so I think I'll take about 2/3 of a yard. Oh, you know what? We're going to use the same color for the stem, so I'm going to go ahead and take more. Take a full yard. I almost always take a full yard, but I don't save scraps, so. Okay. Now remember, it's a stem stitch, so it'll be easier for us to come out right here so that our thread is out of the way. But because it's a stem stitch, we should have been on the other side of the thread. There we go. Because remember, we pull it towards us to go. And we should have a thread under, or a stitch underneath. Let's go ahead and go up here. And this one just goes all the way to the tip, and then it has a couple of little branches on the way back down. So, okay, and if you look at, you see it ends and then there's a dot out there. So this is the end right here. The last dot is not the end of the stick, it's where the little cotton blossoms go. And then there's just a couple places along the way where there is a little branch going off. We may come back and add cotton to those. We'll have to see how the cotton looks. It'll be like the last thing that we do. Okay, and then a little one over on this side. Then we need to go up our last branch right here. I think we're closer to start at the bottom and go to the top. My mind is arguing with itself right now. It keeps saying, we could go ahead and stitch the rest of this today. It's okay. But then I'm gonna hate myself because I need to get those. The sunny skies are hand painted, and because of that, they take a while to do each one of them. So, and I need to finish 80 of them in the next couple days, so I really should just work on that. All right. There we go. That is our first day of working on this fall pattern.